Every blockbuster movie and popular TV series that uses VFX relies heavily on computer-generated imagery, CGI. To give you an idea, it takes thousands of talented artists to bring these stunning visuals to life. Take Avatar: The Way of Water, for instance. This film contains 3,240 shots, had over 10 VFX supervisors, 200+ compositors, and 101 lighting artists. Now imagine if we asked you to handle all the VFX work for this film alone, completing one shot per day. It would take you up 3,240 days to finish, which is approximately 9 years just for the VFX, not counting the efforts of other departments. So why does CGI take so much time? And how does it work? In this video, we'll explain the full process of creating computer-generated imagery and answer all your questions along the way. We'll also explore the CGI pipeline with insights from DreamWorks Animation artists. Finally, we'll see how ILM used advanced technology at the time to bring creatures and environments to life for the Warcraft movie. Every great CGI project starts with a spark of imagination. This is where concept art comes into play. Concept art is the visual representation of an idea or vision. Artists create detailed sketches or digital paintings to explore the look and feel of the characters, environments, and overall mood of the project. This stage is crucial as it sets the creative direction and provides a reference for all subsequent stages.
The art department is made of a bunch of artists, and they're called visual development artists. The reason is because they develop things visually. The film has to have a look. So the artists will sit down at their computer, or at their pencil and paper, or whatever medium they work in, and they will create what the film looks like. Everything from the characters, to the props, to the environments. Every single thing that you see in the film is designed by an artist. And it gets approved by the art director or production designer, and then we as an art department put it in front of the director to see if it's the film that he wants to make.
For the Warcraft film, ILM had to create more than 50 different assets to bring the Horde to life with maximum variety.
We created actually 52 different assets between orc children. There were varying ages, there were teenagers, there were elders. Then we had 4 different clans of actual warriors. So we designed different body types for all of them, as well as lots of wardrobe that could be then mixed and matched and made into sort of hundreds of variations.
Once the concept is solidified, the next step is modeling. Modeling is the process of creating 3D representations of the characters, props, and environments designed in the concept art. There are 2 primary techniques. Geometrical modeling. This involves constructing models using mathematical shapes and precise measurements, ideal for objects like buildings and machinery. Sculpting. This technique is akin to molding digital clay, perfect for creating detailed and organic shapes, like characters and creatures.
Modeling, we basically build all the characters, the environments, the props. Everything you see in a film, it has to be built, it has to be created. We receive 2-dimensional artwork from the art department, and it's our job to bring it into the 3rd dimension to give it volume. The other thing that we do is we create or we sculpt the characters. We get drawings from the character designers, and then what we do is we end up with an armature or a wireframe of the character, and then we have to basically sculpt that character and make it look good from every possible angle.
Next is rigging. Rigging involves building a digital skeleton with bones and joints that allow the model to move. This skeleton is then connected to the model in a process called skinning.
Riggers, or character TDs, design how the character moves. We're essentially puppet makers. We place all of the joints, muscle, and fat underneath the skin. And we make all of the skin deform, so every little wrinkle.
For characters, an additional layer called the muscle system is added to simulate the realistic movement of muscles and skin. This is crucial for achieving natural and believable animations. This technology was first used in The Mummy, where the team faced significant challenges as they were pioneering the use of muscle systems in CGI. It required extensive manual effort since specialized software was not yet available.
It's amazing how much understanding of anatomy you end up with working on a show like this because it's got to be as real as you can make it. I mean, granted, it's a fantasy character, he's a monster, but it's got to be as real as you can get it, and that's one of the things that makes it believable. So my job on The Mummy was to make all of that mechanics, all of that body mechanics of a human body work. So the first thing we would start with is the mechanics of movement of a human skeleton. In our case, you were going to be able to see all the bones, so they had to move the way a real skeleton moves. Basically what we did is we took the skeleton, the correctly articulated skeleton, and we added the muscles onto it in such a way as that they connected up to the right places. Like we would connect the bicep to the right places on the arm, connect the forearm muscles, the brachioradialis, the triceps on the back would connect to the scapula and to the back of the arm as well as down to the elbow. We just basically followed, anatomy books, followed the assembly diagram, if you will. So the research and time involved to create this guy was astronomical, involving months of work. Probably about 2 or 3 months for myself alone, plus months of the people that were helping.
With the rig in place, we proceed to animation. Animation brings the models to life by creating movement. There are 2 main methods: keyframing. Animators set key positions for a model, and the software interpolates the movements between these points. This technique is labor-intensive, but allows for precise control over the animation. Motion capture. Motion capture, or mocap, is a technique where actors wear special suits fitted with sensors. These sensors track their movements, which are then translated into digital animations. This method provides a highly realistic portrayal of human actions and expressions. It's frequently used in video games and films to bring characters to life. With motion capture data, we can also create crowd simulations. When we have a scene that requires a crowd, it's challenging to create and manipulate each character individually. This is where crowd simulation comes into play. Creating realistic crowd scenes involves simulating large groups of characters interacting in an environment. This is crucial for scenes requiring bustling cities, battlefields, or any scenario where numerous individuals are present. The complexity of crowd simulation lies in the need to give each character unique behaviors and interactions, adding to the overall realism.
Ideally, an animator in the animation department would be able to animate all the characters on screen. But if there's just too many to handle, then that becomes property of the crowd department, because there's just no way that one human can animate all those things. So we'll try and achieve the performance that the director wants through automated ways. We'll create just a few little animations that can be applied en masse to a whole bunch of characters. Walking, talking, buying a hot dog, whatever actions we need for a particular scene. And then we'll take all those actions and put them together with a brain, like a robot brain that decides what actions to use when. And in the end, we can achieve a performance that looks like a crowd doing a multitude of different actions.
While the characters are being rigged and animated, at the same time, we submit them along with other props to the texturing department. Texturing is the process of applying surface details to 3D models to give them a realistic appearance. This includes adding color, patterns, and textures to the models. Detailed textures simulate different materials like skin, metal, and fabric, ensuring that the models look visually compelling and fit the project's aesthetic.
Surfacing artists determine the surface quality of particular assets or characters. Basically, the color, the texture, or how the light interacts with the surface itself. So we have a material library which is comprised of like metals, woods, plastics, and that kind of thing. So take metal, for example. It can have paint on top of it, it can have dirt, it can have rust, it can have scratches, various things, and we would add that.
Next, we submit the textures along with the 3D models to the simulation department. Simulations are used to create natural phenomena such as fire, smoke, and water. There are 3 main types of simulations. Rigid body simulates solid objects that do not deform, like rocks or furniture. Soft body simulates deformable objects, like jelly or fabric. Fluid dynamics simulates liquids and gases such as water flow or smoke. These effects require detailed physical calculations to mimic real-world behaviors. For instance, fire simulations involve calculating heat, fuel, and turbulence, while water simulations require fluid dynamics to achieve realistic motion and interaction with other objects.
It's not just explosions and demolitions. We do a ton of different things. We, at effects, have to pay attention to all the little details that you take for granted in live action. So little things like footprints or leaves rustling in the wind, we actually make those happen. And it's not just that. When you have dragons or fairies changing color, we come up with techniques to do things that nobody has seen before on screen. The other end is make sure that the fire or the smoke looks just right. So we are the general problem solvers of the production pipeline.
Hair is also a part of simulations. It is an integral aspect of creating realistic CGI characters, but it can be incredibly challenging, especially when dealing with the large volume of hair. Simulating each strand to move naturally requires significant computational power and advanced algorithms. In the film Warcraft, ILM faced the daunting task of animating characters with vast amounts of hair. To tackle this, they developed a specialized tool called Haircraft. This tool allowed them to efficiently manage and animate the hair, ensuring each strand behaved naturally.
Haircraft was a tool that was invented specifically for the challenge of tackling the multiple hair grooming styles, braids, fur that our characters had on the show. King Magni in particular had a extremely long beard of matted red hair. It went down beneath his waist, loops back through a belt buckle, and had to carry the true weight and dynamic properties that hair of that length would.
We developed a system where we could actually model the braids because it's a very artistic process that the modelers could really get in detail, and then we're able to fill those hair volumes with all the individual hair strand.
Yes, there's a lot of simulation involved in every shot, and it's what sells the hair as being real. So it's very important to have the hair colliding in a very believable fashion.
Durotan has roughly 1 million hairs covering his head, but also very fine peach fuzz that's on his face, and body hair, back hair, nose hair. That goes all the way from the Durotan character to the Frost Wolves. And the Frost Wolves have over 7 million hairs.
The amount of fur that we had to generate for this film was enormous. The Frost Wolf was developed over the course of several months because it is such a complex character. There's a shot with Durotan's hands touching the mane of the Frost Wolf, so we needed a lot of detail. The groom had to hold up close, but the simulations had to be very realistic as well.
So Haircraft allows us, on a per-shot basis, to go in and increase the resolution of the hairs and the number of hairs that we would be using for simulation in just those specific areas.
ILM faced a new challenge with Kong, creating photorealistic hair for the enormous gorilla.
Kong was definitely a big challenge because we're talking about over 17 million hairs, so it was very important that we optimize the shots as much as possible. We knew early on that the best strategy would be basically breaking out the groom to multiple artists, Ryan Gillis and myself, so that we could hit our schedule. The director didn't want a typical gorilla groom, so we knew that our fur will never be clean. It required an insane amount of details. We ended up incorporating a lot of clumping. We also had very large matted sections into our groom. We knew that we needed to dirty it up, so we added leaves, we added twigs, we added mud, and secondary grooms incorporated the injuries that were sustained by Kong throughout the film.
When all departments have finished their jobs, all the assets go to the lighting department, which is the final stage in the 3D workflow. Lighting is a crucial element in CGI, as it sets the mood, tone, and atmosphere of the scene. It involves strategically placing lights to illuminate the scene in a way that enhances the visual storytelling.
So in lighting, we take the cameras, we take the models, we take the animation, and we take the surfacing, and we use computer animated lights to get the overall look of the final shots.
After lighting, we submit our shots for rendering. Rendering is the process of generating the final images, or frames. This stage involves complex calculations to simulate light behavior, shadows, reflections, and textures. It can be incredibly time-consuming, but is essential for producing photorealistic results. Next, we send the concept art, along with the rendered images, to the matte painting department. Matte painting is the process of creating detailed and realistic 2D backgrounds. These painted environments are then integrated with live-action footage or CGI elements. By combining matte paintings with 3D models, textures, and visual effects, artists can create immersive and believable worlds that enhance the storytelling and visual experience.
So in our animated movies, the characters act on a set that comes from modeling. We take care of everything that's beyond that set. So lots of skies, lots of clouds and mountains, vistas of all sorts, sometimes cityscapes. The art department does wonderful color keys that kind of inform what they want to see in the backgrounds. Then we take assets built from models that may exist beyond that point of the set and do paintings that use the art's color keys as like a touch base. What you end up with is an image which is like the last puzzle piece that slides in the back of everything.
Last and not least, compositing. This crucial step involves combining all the various visual elements, live-action footage, CGI, matte paintings, and more, into a single cohesive shot. Compositing ensures that everything fits seamlessly together, creating a realistic and immersive final product. If you want to learn more about compositing, check our previous video that explains compositing techniques used to blend CGI with live-action footage for a realistic VFX. As we wrap up our journey through the CGI pipeline, we've seen how various techniques and departments work together to create the stunning visuals that captivate audiences worldwide. From the initial concept art and modeling, through texturing and matte painting, to the final compositing, each step plays a crucial role in bringing these fantastical worlds to life. Behind this magic lies the incredible effort and dedication of countless talented artists. Their creativity and hard work transform ideas into the breathtaking scenes we enjoy on screen. We hope you enjoyed this behind-the-scenes look at the magic of CGI. Stay tuned for our next video where we'll dive into the VFX softwares used in each department, giving you a closer look at the tools that make it all possible. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more insights into the world of visual effects.